folks, we have the quadratic x squared plus 30x plus 21. All right? And the way that we're going to determine, probably the easiest way to determine the minimum or maximum value is to put this into vertex form, okay? The first step in doing that is to organize it accordingly by putting your a and b terms inside the parentheses, x squared plus 30x, leaving a space, and then putting the plus 21 on the outside of the parentheses, okay? Now, just like we learned before, we're going to take the b term and divide by 2. What's the b term, folks? All right, so I'm going to take my 30, divide by 2, and I get 15. Now, remember, this value is special because it's part of your factorization, okay? So we're going to take the 15 and square it, and we get 225. All right? Get my colors. We're going to take this value, we're going to add it here. But to maintain balance, what do I have to do? Exactly, subtract it as well. All right? And I'm basically done. I just have to reorganize this perfect square trinomial here. We just completed the square, did we not? So now, young people, the factorization of this is going to be what? Help me out. Anybody? Thank you. X plus 15 what? Okay. Minus 204. So, Amaya, you should see on your answer choices that you had a minimum value of 204. Okay? If I were to draw an ugly graph of this is very ugly. This is not drawn to scale. Okay? Keep in mind about our rules about vertex form. Can anybody help me out on what the A term is? It's 1. Our A term is positive or negative? So how will our parabola be facing? Up. Good. All right, and what's my vertex? 15? Which one is it? Negative 15 or positive 15? If it's inside the parentheses, if I see a positive, I pull out a what? Okay, good. So that's negative 15 and negative 204. As soon as you see this value here, young people, that's automatically your minimum value, okay? So if I were to draw an ugly graph of this, this is very ugly, guys. Here's negative 15. Here's negative 204. The parabola's vertex will be about here, and it'll be facing upward. It's beautiful, right? Okay? So naturally, young people, as you can see, these arrows indicate that my points keep going up and up and up and up and up. There is no maximum value. I mean, it's essentially it's infinity, okay? And it's inconceivable. That value is inconceivable. But if I look at the bottom, there's a valley here, right? And my lowest value aligns with negative 204 on the y-axis. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions or concerns about this? All right. The next quadratic we're going to do is negative x squared minus 14x plus 1. All right, I'm already going to warn you guys, this is going to be a little bit tricky. Okay, it's not hard, it's just tricky, okay? All right? I need everybody's attention, please. Everybody. I know you're working, but everybody needs to see this, okay? You too, Makai. All right. When your leading coefficient is not a positive 1, you must factor it out first, okay? What is our leading coefficient here, folks? It's negative 1. So I'm going to factor out a negative 1, okay? And I normally don't write it, but I'm going to write it for these purposes, okay? So once I factor out a negative 1, what can I multiply negative 1 by to get the negative x squared back? A positive x squared, right? Because negative 1 times x squared is a negative x squared. What can I multiply by negative 1 to get a negative 14x? A positive 14x, yes. What can I multiply by negative 1 to get a positive 1? A negative 1. So far, are we okay? All right. So now, guys, put that away, please. Pay attention. This is where the tricky part comes, okay? So I'm going to work this problem out inside these parentheses, okay? But this negative 1 will always be there, and we must consider it throughout the problem, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is organize our problem, organize our quadratic like normal, leaving a space. But I have to have a double set of parentheses, okay? So I have x squared plus 14x, leave a space, and then I have the minus 1 here, okay? But I have to close it back out. Does this make sense? Okay? Because it's because of that negative 1. I have to organize my my information this way. All right, so now, well, I take that back. Let me leave a space because some stuff is about to happen. We're about to complete the square, right? All right, we have to leave 2 spaces. All right, so like normal, we take the b term and divide it by 2, right? So I have 14 over 2 equals what? All right, just like normal, I take the 7 and I square it, okay? And that's 49. So I'm gonna add a 49 here and subtract the 49 out here. Process has not changed, okay? Has not changed. Are we okay at this point? All right. Now, rewriting everything, I'm gonna draw a line here. I have negative 1. There's my set of parentheses. And let me finish completing this. Let me write the new factorization of my perfect square trinomial. What is the factorization? What is the factorization of my trinomial here, guys? We figured it out already. X, so can you say it louder, please? Yes, x plus 7. The quantity of x plus 7, what? Thank you, squared. Okay? Okay, minus, not minus a negative, just say minus 50, okay? Okay? But this looks weird, guys. This is not how you will see it on the end of course test. You see that negative 1? Watch very carefully, okay? This negative 1 will be multiplied by this quantity and this quantity separately, okay? So when we rewrite this, this will be negative, without the parentheses now, we're at the end, negative x, or negative 1 times the quantity of x plus 7 squared, okay? And then negative 1 times this negative 50 gives me what? Yes, very good. Very good, Brianna. Positive 50. And this will be my final answer. Now, here's the thing, though. My a term is what, though? It's negative 1. Okay? So that means that my parabola is going to be doing what? Pointed down. Let me draw an ugly graph real quick. So my vertex is going to be located where? Look up here, baby. Negative 7. Negative 7 and positive 50, right? Okay? So let me draw an ugly graph. Here's negative 7. Here's 50, right? And y'all already told me it's going to be pointing where? Here's my vertex, right? So pretty, right? But check it out. You can clearly see, let me put my arrows on. You can clearly see that this parabola has a peak, okay? Meaning that it has a highest value, or better said, a maximum value. Where? At 50. Good job, Shuaib. Does that make sense? Questions or concerns? I am uploading this momentarily. All right? And feel free to send me questions through the website too, y'all, okay?